welcome to Diamond Delight Edibles. My name is Liz if this is the first time you're joining, and for the rest of you, welcome back guys. Thank you so much. My numbers keep growing and it's all due to you. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. So today I'm going to show you how to make ketchup and barbecue sauce. And the ketchup recipe that I'm showing you is a Heinz copycat recipe. So let's get ready. We're going to do, oh, I actually wanted to show you this. So check this out. Woo. Look at those. So yeah, a little bit, because they do run. But I'm going to show you how to make those up. So let's jump right into those ingredients and get this made. Alright, so for our Heinz copycat ketchup, and if you want to make the Canna version of it, what we're going to need is 6 ounces of tomato paste. So it's 2 of these little cans, or you can use the one regular size can. We're going to need a half a cup of pure white vinegar, a 1/4 cup of your Canna syrup, a 1/4 cup of light corn syrup. Now with this, if you would like, you can absolutely go a half a cup of your Canna syrup. Because of the heavy tomato flavor, you're not going to need to worry about it. It's not going to come through. So if you want to go half, absolutely. Otherwise, if you don't want it as strong, go with a 1/4 cup and the 1/4 cup of light corn syrup. We are going to need a 1/4 cup of water, a tablespoon of salt, sorry, a teaspoon of salt, correction there, teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. Now that you can go to taste. So with cooking, it's not like baking, it's not a science, it's more to taste. So if you'd like a little bit heavier garlic, you can absolutely increase that, but it'll add, again, a little bit of a time more for your taste. And we are going to need 1 tablespoon of sugar. Then all we need for equipment is a pot, a whisk, and a bottle or something to put your ketchup in. And we're going to jump right into this. No need to take a break there. So we're going to first start by putting our tomato paste into the pot. Now here's a really cool trick you can do with your tomato paste so you can get it all out really clean. Make sure that your top is first fully cut and just kind of sitting in there. Flip it over, grab your can opener, and then you just, over your pot, grab the bottom there, slide that off, top, just push all the way through, and there you go. You've got it all nice and clean, and don't have to worry. No fuss, no muss. And we're gonna basically just put all our ingredients into the pot. Got my vinegar, my water, my syrups, uno, dos. Gently mix that together first just to get it started. And then we're going to use our whisk here. Whoops. And we're just going to whisk that together. And we're going to turn this on to medium heat. We're going to start it boiling, and then we're going to turn it down and let it simmer for 20 minutes. Oh, looks like ketchup. Oh, surprise, surprise. You know, I'm always a little shocked when stuff turns out, I'm not going to lie. And then while it's cooking in that, you want to make sure to keep moving it because of the sugars and the tomatoes. If you don't, it will burn on the bottom of the pot. So while it's simmering, you're still going to have to continue to stir quite often. Count on boil. Alright, so my ketchup here is coming to a boil. So I'm just going to turn it down and I'm going to let that simmer for 20 minutes. Come back and then we are going to make our barbecue sauce. So you got to stay tuned. I know you thought this was over, but no, we're going to take this and then we'll get into the ingredients for the barbecue sauce. Alright, so while you're stirring this, because tomato and that bubbles up ridiculously, even on the really low, it'll just keep spewing out. Make sure to put something, an oven mitt or a glove or something on to prevent burning, because I have a few on my hands, so I figured I'll give you that little tip there to save you some owies. It's important to keep stirring the whole time so that you don't get any burning on the bottom. Now, if you have left it a time and we do have a little bit of burning, we're going to run it through a sieve when we put it through our bottle, so it'll catch anything that may have stuck to the bottom of the pot. All right, so my ketchup is done. I'm just gonna run it through a mesh strainer here into a bowl to let it cool, and then I'm gonna transfer it over to my bottle. And then from there, once it's cool, we're gonna make our barbecue sauce. And so we just want to run it through the mesh to catch any larger chunks, or if anything did happen to burn a little bit on the bottom, you don't want those to go into your ketchup. So we'll just work that through. And then doing this too, look at the difference in the textures here. So you've got this, it looks kind of pulpy in that, and when I run it through the strainer, yeah, you see how much smoother that looks? I know the shadow's not good in my kitchen, sorry. I'm trying to show you the two together here without dripping. Trust me, it looks good, it looks better. Looks like actual ketchup. So you're just going to continue to work that through. And then if there's any pulp left, just throw that out if it doesn't all work through. Well, that's it. I'm going to transfer it to the bottle, and then we'll get right onto our barbecue sauce. There we go. I'm going to just let that cool. Yeah, probably using a funnel might have been handier. However, I'm not smart like that sometimes. But there you go. I'm just going to clean that up, let her cool, and then we'll get into barbecue. So here, check out our ketchup. Look at that ketchup. All right, so let's jump into barbecue sauce. All right, so for our barbecue sauce, what we're gonna need is a half a cup of the ketchup that we just made. And if we're doing this your Canna Ketchup. We are going to need a 1/4 cup of water, a 1/4 cup of Canna syrup. Again, if you wanna make this more infused, if you wanna make it stronger, we can go with a 1/4 cup of Canna syrup. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire or Worcestershire, depending on how you pronounce that, Worcestershire sauce. 2 tablespoons of light brown sugar, or you can use the dark brown, doesn't really matter. The darker brown is just going to give you a bit more of a molasses taste. We're going to need 2 tablespoons of pure white vinegar, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of your favorite hot sauce. So again, with your chili, if you like things a little spicier, you can go with a 1/2 teaspoon and go with like a 1/2 teaspoon of your hot chili sauce, again, or hot sauce, whatever it is that you use. That is all purely dependent on taste. And if you like to have a bit of that hickory smoke taste, you can add what's called liquid smoke. But literally you add 1 to 2 drops only. It's very, very strong, and if you add any more than that, it completely overpowers your sauce. So just 1 to 2 drops of that if you want that hickory taste. And for our equipment, we just need a pot, a whisk, and a spatula, and that's it. I'm gonna jump right in, no need to take a break here. I'm gonna jump right in, we'll get this going. So everything pretty simple, goes into the pot. So my ketchup, water, my Canna syrup, my Worcestershire, our brown sugar, our chili powder, get out, and our hot sauce. And for the smoky, I am going to add in for a little bit of the smoke. And I'm going to add it onto my spoon first so that I don't by accidentally do 4 or 5 drops. I literally just want 1 or 2. Well, that's it. We're going to just whisk all that together, put this on to medium-low, and we're going to let it simmer for 10 minutes. Alright, so while making my sauce, I gave it a little taste test. And for my liking, this was just a very base barbecue sauce. So really you can build from there. So what I did is I added in about a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. And I'm going to add in just a little pinch or so here. About 1/8 teaspoon of dry mustard powder. Just for, said it's just missing a little something, but that's my personal taste and what I like. You may like a little bit plainer sauce, and that would be perfect for you. Now you can see this one doesn't bubble and boil and splash all over you as much as the ketchup does. I don't know what it is with tomatoes. That's a lot better. Alright, so I said I'm just going to let this simmer here for about 10 minutes. and just come back and we'll let you see the finished product and say goodbye. Sorry, and it is one thing very important to make sure to constantly stir. Again, because you've got the sugars and the tomato, it will burn on the bottom. So it's important to stir your entire time. All right there, so my barbecue sauce has been simmering for 10 minutes. Now, if you find that your barbecue sauce is a little bit thin, you can really see here, I'll pour a little bit out here to show you. So if you find it's a little thin, like that, you want it a little bit thicker. I mean, we don't want it like, you know, gravy thick, but if you want it a little bit thicker, take some cornstarch, about a tablespoon, add some water, and it's nice and liquidy. And we are going to put this back on to boil for just a moment, because for cornstarch, in order for it to activate and thicken, you have to bring your product to a boil. So we're going to pour just a little bit in at a time. Going to whisk that in, and it's going to begin to immediately thicken. So you want to whisk for about 1 or 2 minutes before adding any more, because it will continue to thicken. If I went and dumped all of that in, we would have absolutely solid barbecue sauce in. Nobody wants that. So that's now a good texture for me. So now we can see here a little bit of the difference. It's not as runny and watery. All right, so I'm just going to actually put it in a bottle and come back and say goodbye to you guys. So that was my demonstration there on how to do a Heinz Ketchup and a barbecue sauce. And check this out. They look just like the stuff because it oozes all over. So any questions or any comments at all, please don't hesitate to put them down. Love to hear from you, and love for you guys to follow me on Instagram. That would be awesome. Well, thanks again for watching. You have an awesome rest of your day. Take care.